Good evening.
Evening.
All right.
Yeah, good, mate. You?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. It's been a long week.
It's proper road weather, isn't
it? Oh, blimey! I'll tell you, I was on site in East Kent, down by the beach earlier today, and I was leaning over, and I was like, I'm almost 45 degrees just to stay upright.
We're not
blimey!
Just feather-like people, are we?
No, exactly. I was a little bit scared I was going to blow away. Hi, everyone joining in the chat. You got Gaz, Rage, Nick. Gaz, the king of blue ribbons has returned.
Be done, mate. Finally. Got a pass.
I only worked out the other day that the blue ribbons are actually rye bands, or it's spelt like rye band.
Yeah. No, I'm not having it. Ribbon. This is almost getting danger close to the Shamar Schmeg Schmay.
Yeah. Oh my word. Yeah. I still haven't quite nailed what that is.
No. But ask Siri and everyone. No one seems to know.
No. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really good, mate. Really, really good. Busy week, but finally the weekend. So yeah, getting ever closer to June. To my first event. Honestly, I think it's got to be the first time I played in a year and a half. I think. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of coming around quick enough, but we got like a couple of audits at work in the middle, so it's like it's not too far away, but you've got stuff that you don't want to turn up because I don't really want to work. So you've got this crap bit in the middle, but you know that the 11th's going to come around soon enough. So you know we've been field testing some kit, you know, putting it through its paces. Getting up there in the day, zeroing in the guns, making sure that there's no issues with them. Sort of testing the comms out with Mike Marden, and you know, it's absolutely, you know, trying to get everything knuckled down ready for the 11th. So really pleased with the way that the guns are performing. Obviously, unfortunately, due to social media, I'm not going to drop the we're Nazis. We can't put that sort of stuff on here and show you. You know, some of those guns and that sort of stuff that I've been playing around with, but it's just been really nice to get up there for a few hours, just generally chatting about, you know, all things airsoft and not airsoft, you know, just family life, how's things and all that, then sticking the nods on and the thermal and going for a walk through the woods, and yeah, just, you know, just sort of having a little dust off, but yeah, good, mate, good. How about yourself?
Yeah, that's all good. It's all gravy, you know. Slowly getting closer to D-Day. The old drop date. We had a little tour of the birthing centre yesterday, so that was an eye opener.
When is
15th of July?
Oh, crumbs!
Apparently, so yeah. So it could be any point from about 4 weeks. So I've been told there's like a month window. So yeah.
We had, like, obviously, you know, if I can remember how many I've got now, 5. That's it. You know, we've had like ones that have gone a couple of weeks over, and we've had some that are pretty much around the bang on, and then we've got Charlotte that turned up a couple of weeks early. So yeah, there's no rhyme or reason. I think when they've had enough in there, they just decide to come along. But yeah, no, what we always find with it, you know, and you do, is it's sort of like, you know, the first bit when you can't tell anyone and you don't really want to tell anyone seems to drag, you know, and you get into the scans that they're telling you that things are all right, and you know, some of the key dates, and you think, right, past that date we can start telling people, or you know, past that date we'll just jib out somewhere and buy a, you know, little baby grow and all that sort of stuff. That seems to drag, and then the bit in the middle, kind of like, yeah, that's flying by. Then the last 2 months is like, you know, you just sort of walk around patting your other half's back, just feeling really sorry for her because she's had enough.
It's the DIY. I'm decorating most of my house at the moment, so yeah. I know Wayne's just jumped to the chat and said, "Oh, he's already in that 4-week window." Yeah. I don't know if Wayne's had any DIY to do, but it does seem that feathering the nest is a definite thing.
It's like that countdown clock as well, isn't it, when it starts going? And you always know. Yeah, my other half's been the same. It's like you get to a certain time, and then she's like, "You'll come home and the cupboards will be emptied out. Yeah, but we don't need that anymore." that can go. I want to get up in the loft and sort stuff out. Well, baby, you're 7.5, 8 months pregnant. You can't be climbing up and down in the loft. No, that's all right. We're going to figure it out. We need to get the outfits out. We need to do this. We need to do that. And you think, man, yeah. So obviously, it's nice to know it's not just, one. They are alike in many ways when it comes to that in these pregnancies, DIY and chucking shit out. But
anyone on Instagram, if you want to drop us a little comment at some point, because I'm going to be packing a dad bag, so I could do with some advice on what to put in the dad bag. Apparently, a gas stove, MREs and stuff are somewhat recommended, but not a gas stove. So
I know we kind of semi-joked about this before, but my other half, she never, of all the babies we've had, she's never not had dextrose tablets in her bag, just as a little pep you up. You know what I mean? So little things like that, and I always find that you have stuff packed, but then when you go there, as much as the little League of Friends shops are a bit of a rip-off, you can't help going in there and picking yourself up a cheeky Ginsters slice or something like that. So all the stuff packed kind of goes out the window because I'm just going to go and get do you want a coffee, babe? I'll go down and get you one from Costa. Yeah. No, while you're down there, you're having a little cheeky Ginsters.
Well, I've been on Prepper's Shop and I've ordered 80 of those little fruit smoothie sachets. I've got a whole load of like MRE cinnamon buns and stuff like that. So I'm just going to be sitting there in the corner, just sitting in my wrap packs.
They'll come in and you have a basher set up.
Exactly. Oh, let's check the chat. So Gaz says, looking rather French, Chief.
Yeah, this is the hybrid. This is more the urban French. So I've got one that is this show you the bit of the difference. This is might not actually. That's
your Russian camo.
This is pure blue and white. This is more your urban French. So if I'm going house to house with my beret and my baguette, then this is the grey and blue.
Or as they say in France, maison or maison.
Exactly that. They don't say French stick in there, do they? They say baguette. They don't say it's not the French, eh?
Also on Krypton, says evening. Ratty number 13, evening. Rage. Oh, he's much better looking than the dude who's usually there.
Yeah. They come up and go, that's nice, I believe that. And in certain comments that crop up now, I know he's bullshitting.
Yeah. I know Lance is listening tonight. He's got a training course, so he won't be joining us this week. But he is on the chat. Well, he's not on the chat, sorry, he's listening though. So please feel free to put as many comments and I'll read them out.
You get little moments in time that kind of really warm your heart. And I think I had one of those moments in the week, and I'm lucky enough, as probably with yourself, to have Lance on Facebook. And how nice was that with his kids and his dad, and then seeing him up and giving his old man a hug. It's just you take so much for granted in life, don't you? But that there's so much happiness just for his kids and this Lance's dad, who I've never met.
Extreme Nigel.
Couldn't you? It was really good. I've seen the pictures of Nigel, and some of the things that he's done. But I thought it was, So if you are watching, Lance, and listening in, mate, that was immense, mate. I bet you were chomping at the bit to get that day done.
Yeah. Oh, hang on. Ray just said all you need is whiskey in the dad bag. Andy Bob says vodka. Nick says heat bags. And heat bags, that's not a bad shout. I might get one of those the little non-flame heaters.
You get the US MRE, the self-heating.
Yeah.
One. Nice. I've actually tried about 4 of them. Must have to say, none of them worked. The trouble is, when I'm on a MilSim, I can't wear any glasses. I can't read the instructions, so I probably didn't put water in. Or put too much water in. Who knows? But I'm like that. I did actually do a little flick around on YouTube the other day, and is it the Crazy Russian guy?
Yes.
The testing. He tested a New Zealand MRE a number of years back, and if you can get hold of them, I don't know where you could pick one up from. So I looked on eBay and I couldn't see any, but they look really nice. it's like all the nice stuff that you get in like the US ones, the British ones, and all that. It's like the New Zealanders have looked at it and gone, take that shit out. Let's get a little bit of that nice stuff, and just built one like that. And I was looking at it, I could really sit and eat. I could go one of them now. They're really nice.
Cool. I'll have to give that a look.
Yeah.
Right, let's get into some torches, because we've got a whole plethora of lights and stuff to talk about tonight. Paul, I know that you've recently bought some O lights. I don't know if you've got them there. Do you want to kick off with those?
Right. So I know there's people have different various opinions, isn't there? You know, you'll have the Surefire fanboys, and you tend to have like the O light fanboys. Now, I've never owned a Surefire, so I can't possibly comment. But I do tend to do a bit of research behind stuff that I buy, because it's an investment. So I did have a little look at O lights compared to Surefires, and the reach and the and the coverage they get from each, and they are quite comparable in in a few ways. So I did have the Odin up until recently, and I got rid of that after actually never even using it. I kind of got it, stuck it on the gun, shot it down the garden, and sold it. Purely because I just moved into different kit. So, but what I've got on my MP7 and my sidearm, so my HK45. So if we go for the HK45 first, now this one is the Olight Valkyrie 2.
Let's make you the. Sorry, I'm trying to make you the big one.
Okay. I'm on a diet. That doesn't do anything for my self-esteem, man. We go. Where are we? Are we going big?
Yeah. Hang on. I'm getting there. I've just got to work out. There we go. That's it.
There's only two of us, man.
I
know. So, this is the PL2 Valkyrie. So a great little torch. It's like something like 1200 lumens or something batshit crazy like that. It clips on, so it's already got the mount spring-loaded clip on this side, as you can see, and then you've got essentially the finger switches on the side. So obviously on the gun it would be like that, but this is, I mean, look, that's mental bright for one that goes on the sidearm. So it's got the on-off, and then you've also got obviously strobe function on those. It's got two different light settings, so it'll go at like 1100 lumens or whatever it is for so long, and then because it does get so hot, it will then automatically back itself down. So if you was walking around with your sidearm out for a prolonged period of time, these self-adjust to protect probably you melting your fingers and the stuff inside melt itself. Runs off of two of these little CR123s. All clips up nicely, steady as you like. As I say, I can't show you it on the gun, but once it's locked in, this is absolutely, rigid, doesn't go anywhere. So that, for what it was, I think just over a ton. Great little bit of kit, and yeah, I've used it many times. So that's that one. And then the other one that I use on my
I'll just interrupt you briefly, Paul, because Andy's made quite a good point at warning this video may contain flashing images. So if there is any more strobes, just in case we kill half our audience.
Yeah. And interesting you should say, I'm epileptic, so for you there. But no, we're all good. So this then, so this one I run on my MP7. So essentially, size for size, not too dissimilar in size. So this one is the PL Pro. So again, this has got the same switches on the side, same crazy brightness that you've got, and same strobe function. Thankfully, I'm not prone to photosensitive epileptic fits. So yeah, another really great bit of kit. Again, well over 1,000 lumens. This one a little bit more expensive, but it does come, if you pick the right kit, with a pressure pad. So this doesn't have batteries, rechargeable battery, and you get a USB and you get a charger that just magnetizes onto that. And then if you're running this on your gun and you want the pressure switch, which does all the functions that you get from the little 2 back switches, then pressure switch just goes onto your rail on the side of the gun. This goes onto the other rail or wherever you want to put it. And again, that just magnets on the side. But yeah, again, I'm a big fan of Olight. Had a couple of issues with service from them when it comes to buying the Odin, but it wasn't really Olight's fault. It was more DPDIE lost conveniently at Christmas my torch, which someone probably got wrapped up in their stocking, I'm guessing. But it was a bit of a palaver of like, well, I've paid for it. It's quite a few quid, the Odin, and I wanted a new one sent out. They wouldn't send one out until after DPD had done a 31-day investigation. So it was a bit gnarly, but I vented a little bit. But then kind of reached out to Olight and said, look, appreciate, man, it's really not your fault, but I just wanted the torch. But yeah, so apart from that one hiccup, I've had no real issues with any. These have never. I'll chuck that one across the room. No, it still worked like a good one. I don't know about that one now, but these ones do. I've dropped them in water. I've had them in a jug of water, switched on, fine. No issues whatsoever on them. So if they ever did pack up all day long, I'd buy another one.
Cool, nice. There's a couple questions in the chat. Nick says, "Can you do links? Can you do links on light show and links, please? My torch is 15 years old, and my head torch is a cheap Energizer one." Yeah, no worries, Nick. We can put some links about. That's not a problem.
Just show you after being thrown across the room.
Yeah, it's drop proof.
Back proof.
Yeah. No, that's cool. So, what sort of? You say the PL Pro was that? Yep. Was that a lot more than the PL?
Yes, the good news, they do some really good deals, Olight. So I'll have a little Google on the cost of the Olights just to give you an idea. So they're not, in comparison to what you can get for some on eBay. So the first torch that I started off with was like a bit of a I think it was like a Surefire replica or something like that. Look, getting old now, having to switch my trendy man readers. But yeah, so and that worked absolutely fine. So I took that to my first MilSim in Longmoor, and it didn't have any strobe on it. But if you were pretty good at sort of smacking your fingers on the side and you could make it a bit of a strobe light, if you will. But it's like anything, after a while, you kind of just invest in something a little bit different. So, you get a gun, spend some money on a gun, and you think, well, I want to kit it out with, with a bit more sort of nicer furniture. And that's cool. I've kind of really done with those. But the Odin was expensive. I'm just trying to find the Odin on here. So the PL Pro, so we're not talking mega dear, like 130. But then you had to buy, on top of that, you have to buy the pressure pad. And then I think the Valkyrie one was about a $1. So, and then the Odin was 160. But they're cracking torches. Bear in mind, let's say these are designed to compete with the likes of Surefire, so they're designed to go on the side of real steel, not on the side of 6mm firing BBs. And a lot of the tests you see on YouTube, obviously they're putting it around how many rounds you can put. Does it cut out if you're firing 1,000 rounds for an M4? Does it fall off? Does it cut out? Does it, do these little retaining clips hold their own. And again, no real issues that I've seen.
Yeah, cool.
Definitely happy with those. Would definitely stick with them.
Yeah.
I
might have to do a little bit of investigating on the PL Pro. That sounds like quite a good one, because I'll roll straight onto mine. So I run a. So I don't tend to do too many night games, unfortunately, but this is just a Claris XT10 with a remote trigger.
Yep.
So super bright as well. It comes with, one of the things I did like about this is that you can get a load of. I might actually be an XT11 thing about it. Sorry, just the little lenses on here say an XT11, but you can get various different lenses for them, so you can actually run different colors. So I've got this one currently configured for red, just because a lot of the woodland games and stuff like that, it kind of the illumination that I've needed often is more just to allow me to get from A to B rather than to actually kind of identify anybody or use it for shooting purposes. This comes with a little swivel bevel mount, so it just clips onto your rifle, and then you can rotate that around. But yeah, I mean, that was kind of the first torch I bought, to be honest with you. It was kind of, I think it was about 100 at the time. I think the trigger unit system made it a little bit more pricey. It doesn't have an IR lens. I have been looking at them, Andy, to see if you could get them, and it didn't at the time, but it does come with a frosted one. I'll just grab that out quick. Because the other reason as well, I don't know if you've ever thought this, Paul, in terms of getting torches and things shot out.
Yeah, so I know one of the guys that I used to play at Apocalypse. I haven't seen him in a little bit. I think he's coming on the June MilSim. He bought the same as me, not the Pro. He bought the same, the PL, and he done indoor CQB and had the lens shot out, I think, the first time he used it. And I think all he did was, whatever he did, just picked it out, and he just created himself an extra lens and fitted it over the top. So it's like, you know what I mean? There's certain things that I'll go at the extra mile to protect. This one here, it's, as I say, the PL2, the Valkyrie one, it's on my sidearm, so the majority of the time it's just holstered. So the chances of it getting shot out are quite slim. I only really go for my secondary if I'm either sort of, proper mags out and it's been one of those, and all I'm left with is the sidearm, or if we're engaged and I've really not got time to fanny around sort of sticking an extra mag in and want to just go straight for the side, or if I'm reviving someone back in and I want to have an M4 in my hand and I want my sidearm, but yeah, so I'm not really overly worried. But obviously other things that are in a different stratosphere when it comes to cost, then I'll go out the way to spend a bit more time protecting. I don't think I could really stick anything over the front of this short of glass, because let's say this one here, this rechargeable one, I just had a little Google. So this PL Pro, that's 1,500 lumens. So if I stick plastic over the front of that, it's going to melt.
It's going to melt. Yeah.
So, it is what it is. I think I've never really tested it. I suppose come off the day when this packs up, it'd probably be interesting to stick it in a vise and just see how I could shoot the lens out. I don't know.
Just cry as you fire at it.
But the tears as they drop to the floor turn into coins. It's just like, but yeah, I think it's they're fairly tough. So they're designed for real steel, but you know how tricksy these little 6mm plastic balls can be.
Well, that was why I bought these extra lenses, because I mean the torch on its own, it's got the little kind of glass lens on the end of it, but then you can add the like an extra layer, and then that acts as, sorry, that was a pointless exercise. I don't know why I did that. It acts as a diffuser. So, but then you can also add the other lenses as well. So you've got red, green, blue. I think Nick was saying in the chat the blue lenses are fantastic. You can read maps still with blue. That's true. The only thing I would say is that blue, I think, kills natural night vision a bit more than a red light. So I always tend to use red lights for map reading. And that, funnily enough, I'm gonna use that as a little cheeky segue as well. I bought this. I think it's this one. Yeah, I bought this for £5 off of Amazon. And this is literally a little tiny red light. I think it runs off AAA, maybe a AA. I just use there you go, AA battery. So just using this as an example that not everything needs to be super expensive and super pricey. But this is excellent for map reading. It's got a little focusing ring as well, so you can focus it down to a little point, which isn't really so. It's not like a laser. It's literally just a little focus. It does strobing as well. There we go, loosely. But I use that for map reading quite a bit because you can actually put the bevel right down onto whatever you're looking at, and where it's ridged. I don't know if you can make that out. You see the ridges along there?
Yeah, rib for
so it lets out. Yeah, it lets out basically like the three little beams of light or whatever. So when you're trying to look at a bit of paper or something like that, you don't get a load of overspill. So you can use that quite nicely.
The same.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Oh, hello. Oh, hello. How are you? I'm fine, thank you. Oh, yeah. That's our baby. But yeah, so these are the same. But yeah, I was talking to Lance. We every now and again have little Friday or Saturday night phone calls. Mostly when he's halfway through a bottle of Malbec and he's got his kit out all on the living room floor and his other half's probably scawning at the back of his head. But we was chatting about torches and that one time, and he was saying about his one that he's got. And I think essentially, it's sort of similar to this, but what he's done is he's put the sniper tape all the way over it with a pinprick in the middle. So you've kind of got even though normally you'd have this massive light coming off of it, what you've got is literally like a pinprick map reading light that's tiny. So yeah, little things like that, or little trinkets of information, and always coming out. One thing I will say with Olight, so you buy a couple of things on them. They've got like a rewards program that they do. So if you buy stuff, and I don't work for them, I don't get anything out of them.
Not a sponsored post.
I'll put a banner in a minute, and Olight drop down from the back with like fanfares. But you get like a loyalty program. So as you go into different stages, you get different things unlock into like a members area. So you get advance notice of deals that have come up. So you get like, so many % off, but you'll see that ahead of the game. But then you also get little emails that come out around. They've got so many freebies that they're giving away. And if you quick and add it to your basket, all you've got to do is pay postage and it's yours. So I've ended up with 2. It might be 3. I might have another one lobbing around somewhere. So I've got this little tinker. Was a freebie.
That really is the little baby Olight.
It is. I never figure out which side the pissing camera is. So this one here, this is literally a little tiny tan coloured Olight, but I mean, look at that. That's I know it's amplified on the screen, but
yeah,
it cost me £4 delivery because it was one of their giveaways. So that's one, and then the other one, which pretty much can slot into anything you like, was this. So it's like a pen, but it's not.
Oh yeah.
It's a little button on the end, and again, so you get all sorts of little gems from them. Now that one I just had tucked in the molly or whatever on the elastic bit on my dangler pouch, or just leave it in me. Well, I call it a dangler pouch. It's more like a belly cover. And it's the way I use it. That's what I bought it for anyway. I'm sure on the tier 1 operators it actually does cover the bits it's supposed to cover, but on us tier 4 bacon eaters, obviously it's a bit further up. But that slots in quite nicely. So you can get, just from signing up to their newsletter and putting up with a bit of gumph dropping in your inbox every now and again, little nuggets of, quickly jump on here now, stick one of these in, and you can get for £4 delivery. This Olight, whatever it is, and as I say, that
That'd be ideal for map reading, especially if you did the little pinprick technique on that one.
Yeah, exactly. And it's cost you nothing, So if that fell out, it's a good little torch. The kids have got their eye on it. Olight Elite. But at the end of the day, if I lost that one, I wouldn't cry about it because it's cost me a penny anyway. But yeah, so have a little look around because you can get these good little gems that do turn up sometimes, and for the sake of a bit of spam from a company, you do get some good little deals and offers.
No, that's cool. I know there's a load of various things coming in the chat. There's a load of stuff talking about dad bags. Rage says, Ratty number 13 says phone charger is essential for the hospital. Selfie opportunities at your treasure. Yep, that's already in my bag. So that was all straight away.
Is that because you I don't mean this the nicest possible way, you're going to have a little bit more time on your hand than she is. What you've got is the perfect opportunity to get a well-coiffed mic sort of selfie with the missus that looks like she's been dragged for a hedge, and she's kind of like going on. You're like, yeah, and you got your hair's all done, you're sort of squeaky clean, well chiseled because you're about to meet your baby. You're like, and she's got to put a brave face. Like, our first photograph, babe. It's our first photo. So she's got a face on. You think, hey, you got that one.
Paul, I want to survive this experience.
Thinking about to run after you.
Well, true. Cool sign Kryptony says lots of snacks and drinks for yourself and something to keep you entertained. Yeah, I was looking at packing a Kindle, but I don't know how much reading I'm going to get done. Rage says, I've got a couple Surefire clones from AliExpress. They're all right for 20 quid. Do have an Olight for my pistol, though. Cool.
Yeah, I've had a couple of those from sort of eBay. I've only pretty much just ventured into the whole AliExpress when I bought my lid. But yeah, I've had a couple from eBay. And do you know what? Absolutely serviceable. It doesn't need to be expensive. Do you know what I mean? A torch is a torch, and the one that I had, that replica, it was passable. It looked the part, lovely little pressure pad on it, everything like that. You screwed down quite nicely onto the rail, and for Airsoft, had a long enough reach on it and a good enough sort of beam for you to see what you were doing. So it doesn't need to be stupidly expensive to get a good quality torch. And these things, honestly, I swear. You've got a lorry goes in with machine parts into a factory, and one production line makes a torch that's got Olight written on it, and then next door is another production line that just makes one that's got whatever on it. I swear, they all come out of the same factory. It's a torch at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah. The only thing I would say with AliExpress or is it Alibaba, the other one? So I bought, the tracer units that light up when you fire out of your rifle.
Yep.
I bought one of those and it was an absolute nightmare. It didn't work at all. It would light up when you turned it on and off, but it was not registering any BBs or anything running through it. And then tried to go down the returns route, and it was going to end up costing me more to send it back to get my refund than it would have been. And they were saying, "Oh yeah, no, we'll cover postage." That's like, okay, cool. Is there a way that you can pay the postage for me? No. You pay it and then you claim it from us. It's like, no, I don't want to play that game. So that I've always been a little bit wary of electronics from AliExpress, or whatever.
What I've found from them is, and I've had it a couple of things that I've tried to buy, is that I've ordered it. I think it might be like a lanyard retention or something like that for my nods, and it went through and it's like 20 quid or $20 or whatever it was. So I paid for it, and it's like, this item will be with you by, and it's like 3 months or something like that. I thought that really needed
2023.
3 months time. And then I waited, and it got to the 3 months, and I contacted the seller just saying, has this been dispatched yet? And he went, no, it's out of stock. We'll issue a refund. And you think, well, you've held on to my money for 3 months. Do you know what I mean? If you do that to, it's only 20 quid or whatever, but if you do that to every customer, and so, but then the lid, no issues, absolutely no issues with it. So I think it's just it's like when eBay first launched. It's buyer roulette, isn't it? Sometimes you get a good one, sometimes you get a shocker. Just I wouldn't invest.
I've had things I've had things on Amazon that I've paid for, and then literally they tell you, long delivery period. Then you get to the delivery period time, you log it, and Amazon go, yeah, okay, that's fine. Have a chat with the buyer. So you log it with the buyer, and then they have 21 days to respond, and then their response on the 21st day is, oh, we haven't got it in stock, or oh, I don't know where it's gone. Here's the money back. So, oh, great, thank you. Yeah. Andy Bob says, love the amount of giveaways and free stuff that Olight do.
Yeah, I say you can't knock it. They do some. It's an oxymoron when they do some good shit. I think that's really the right thing. They do some good stuff, some good freebies, some good little giveaways. And you know, I didn't realise that until I signed up with them and you know, bought a couple of things anyway. I just saw the torch, really liked it. I've heard a couple of things about it, so I thought I'll invest in one. And then the loyalty program and the little emails come through, and you know,
yeah,
happy days. Happy days.
Silly Gilly says, often you only need to protect. So this is obviously talking about the protection of the lens. You only need to protect the edge of the lens, as this is the weak part. So that might work with the tape over then. If you sort of have pinhole, maybe if you don't, you could cut like a slightly bigger hole. That would protect it. But no. Andy Bob also says there is a guy that makes custom sized lens covers on eBay. He did my NVG ones, came to about £10 for 4 lenses. Oh, okay, Andy, if you could send us a link to that'd be quite useful. We can put that on the on Facebook.
Yeah.
And potentially Instagram for Rage if he wants it. Right, cool. So that's kind of. I mean, I don't have a lot of torches. That's pretty much it. I've got my Claris and my little cheap red one. But I don't know if you want to talk about your Nightcore.
So I've got a couple more here to go through.
Go for it. Yeah. Sorry, mate.
So head torch. So this is the Actic Petzl.
Mm-hmm.
So again, rechargeable battery, which is just tucked in. Come back. Where are you, fucking mate? Honestly, in there. There we go. Get there in the end. I'll practice throughout the week, so it should be a bit better next time. But yeah. Really good torch. 3 levels of brightness. So you've got sort of 1, 2, and 3. And then if you hold it down, where are we? Hold it down, and you've got your red dead, and the flashing red dead. So again, really good torch. You can charge it up off of the power bank, because you just there we go. You plug it in just in here.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously you can plug that into a power bank and that'll charge up. But this thing lasts for ages. You can walk around with it on full beam, and then after a while, if it starts to run low, then again it'll auto adjust down to the next level, so it doesn't drain the battery. It goes into a bit of power saving mode. So these are quite handy.
Does that do red light on first? Can you do red light on first?
Yes.
Oh, nice one.
So
I might have to, yeah,
right.
Because I've got so when I said I haven't got a lot of torches, I meant as actual torches. I've got some other lights here as well. But I run when I use a head torch. I've got this LED lenser. This is I've made a note of it earlier. This is the H14R.2. But unfortunately, this is literally just a white head torch. This doesn't do any fancy colours or anything like that. And if you turn this on, it just completely wipes out your night vision. So I've been looking for something that does red first.
Yeah, so it's in the off mode. You just hold the button down, and it goes into red, and then you can turn it off. But it stays in red mode then. So if you're just on nights, so it won't go red and then white. Yeah. Sorry. Or you don't have to have it on white, and then obviously you can just switch it back if you want to switch it back. So yeah, really, really good. And I mean the upside of these, I mean look, it just folds into nothing. So if you stick that, I'm really having a fucking moment with this camera tonight, aren't I? Yeah, they just fold up into nothing. So I've got a couple of those. One I'll carry around with me when I'm out and about anyway, and then the other one, I've just had it hanging from the tent. Wherever it is, or in the side pockets of the tent, just so that's ready to use wherever. So that's that one. On the lid, I've got this one. So this is like a Manta Nightcore or whatever it is. So on, you get a little vibrating noise. So that's in IR mode at the minute. Probably be able to see if you look it through your camera. And then you switch the sides, and then it goes into green. So that's IR or green. Is another one I use, and it's got like loads of different settings again. You know, epileptic friendly, not. There we go. Look, full on rave, and then that's off. So that's all I really carry on that one. Just taking the cans off the side of that. But that was an AliExpress. That helmet.
Oh, cool.
30 odd quid, something like that, or $50.
Yeah.
But so this is the Team Wendy Exfil replica. There's all the padding and all the nice stuff that comes with it. But yeah, that's just sits quite nicely on the top of that one. And then I've got on the rig. So I've got two of these now. So the one that I've got on the front here, I think these are charged up because I went out with them the other day. So these are the Nightcore ones. So two different prices on these. You get like the Nightcore one, which is like a white light. I think this does a red light as well. And that's like a lesser price, if you will. And I'll whack some links up on the Facebook page and on Insta. And then you've got this little one up here. Yeah, so you've got your one. And then this little one up here is the IR one. So obviously, if there's only a couple of you using nods, it's not so bad. But I wouldn't really want that on if I'm walking around and, you know, there's loads of them with nods on. So you've got red, white. Put my hand over that bit so it doesn't blind everybody. Don't want any legal cases. So that's that one. And then I think I can never know with this one how it works. I think you have to double tap it away. But that's the IR one. So that'll probably be flat by the time that I get to use it again. Because it'll probably be the next so many weeks up in the loft. Yeah. So these are, you know, I think for their price, I think it might be flat anyway. Great little torches for what they are.
Oh yeah, I've got mine on my rig. I can't recommend these enough. Like since you showed them, Paul, I use that all the time because I mean there is nothing better than just the tiny amount that takes up on as retail space on your plate carrier, and the amount of light that can give you just for walking back to the safe zone or whatever.
Or not if you leave it switched on, like I clearly.
Or not.
but this one you can't go wrong. Yeah, this one I've not mastered the art of yet, so I usually have to ask Mr. Marvin on that. So I'm just going to sit here with this on for a little bit. Actually, I'm missing it. So yeah, so that's that one, and then the other one I'm going to have to look at what it's called because
while you're just looking that one up, so Rage said, "Where did you get the helmet light from, Paul?"
Fleabay, mate. I'll stick a link, or I'll drop you a message on Insta because I know you're not on Facebook, right, Rage?
No.
So I'll drop you a link, mate, on Insta to that one. But again, this one, it runs off of a little CR123. So in it goes, and you can't miss it with this one when it's on or off. So screw it up, and then you can probably, I don't know if you can hear it if I. Yeah, you hear that? So that's powered up. So that's in IR. So if I've got I should be able to see it. If I look at it through my camera on my phone, I can see the best way to tell. So if you're not sure if your light's on IR mode, if you look at it through your camera, you'll 9 times out of 10 see a little white LED flashing purple. But when you take your camera away, you can't see it. So if you're never too sure whether it's switched on, that's a good way of checking. And then you've just got little buttons on the side. And then that's why I broke it off. Honestly, it reminds me of something. I can't quite remember. But
and Andy just says with the light vibrate on the start up of that one, he says my missus must have one of them in her drawer.
Yeah, this doesn't actually come with that bit. I just took it out the other half's rabbit and stuck it in here. So that I will stick a link up for that one, Rose. But that does relatively, it's not expensive. Velcro straight on your lid, and it's a proper. I mean, look, that's that lid. I mean, that's the weight of the lid. That's a all the weights in the back there to balance my nods out and everything like that. And that I can hold that from the Velcro on the torch. So good little bit of kit really on that one. So
just for the other one as well, the Nightcore headlamp as well. I think you can buy those on Amazon right now. They're about £16 if anyone's interested. And they've got like a little clip system, so you can sort of clip them onto your molly or like any webbing or anything like that as well.
Yep. And then pretty much short of like an LED lenser, which I carry, which is just a standard sort of sharp beam, wide beam torch. Pretty good. Mm-hmm. Nice and bright. You can't go wrong with them, to be honest with you. Let me just open this up because I'm going to get it wrong. There's one or two ones that it could be. So this here is this is a bit of Russian kit. So this is the Zentico Clash 2. So this is a white light and IR flood. So these I picked up pre-loved from my partner in crime, Mr. Marden. New, if you look at them on Tinternet, you're looking at around, I think about 500 if you're looking at it new. But you get like a nice little bright light on that one, and then you've got these buttons on the side that you push it in. It's a stiff old push, so that's pushed over now. So you can probably see that. See that there? That's the IR. So this is, I say, if you're never too sure whether it's on or not, and you look at it in a camera, you can see that. And then on the back, there's a little light that tells you as well. But yeah, so this one is what I run on my 416. So, and you get a little cover on it as well. There is a screw-on protector for it as well, which is great to have. But I think the thing to note, which might remind me of, is if you have the protector on there, it reduces the beam from your IR flood a little bit. So rather than lighting it up massively, it will still light it up, but not as much. But again, as I say, nice little bright torch. It's Russian, so you can pretty much run over it in a tank and it will still carry on working. And then on the back, you've got, you can just about see that. So that's where the pressure pad locks into for it as well. And that one there, you get in the tin individual pressure pads, or what I use, because I've got this and I've got the IR laser and red laser. You get like a dual pressure pad with brightness adjustments on it, so that the brightness does adjust up and down the lasers as well. So I have no idea how it works apart from that, because as you can see, it's all in Russian. And funnily enough, that wasn't an option when I was at school. All we had was French. So, but yeah, so I've not really put this through the test yet. So that'll be being put through its paces when we do the MilSim in June. So pretty much, other than that's kind of the torches that I use. As I say, I've got 3 power banks that I take along to any event, charged up. And then I've got like a hat full of different sort of cables, but all the same cable, to be fair. So I can charge a few units up at once. The only one that's a bit different is the GoPro cable, but yeah, make sure I've got charging capabilities of those. And I say the only downside I would say against any of these, apart from more this one, there's no battery option. So if there's a problem with that charging pad or anything like that, or the charging cable, that torch is out of action. Whereas, the good old way of, batteries, which this one takes, and I can't undo it because you need a screw to undo that, but the Zentico gear as well runs off the same batteries. So they all run off the 1, 2, 3s. This one here, the only problem I'll have in life if that fucks up, or I lose the charging cable in the middle of the woods or something like that. But yeah, cool. All good.
I was going to talk about S lights. You got I don't know if you've ever used these. So in terms of dead lights and stuff like that, I first saw these when I was at Evike in America. So I made my wife go there on our honeymoon.
Really?
But these are basically little. The best way to describe them is that it's a torch encased in silicon.
Yep.
So like the whole system there is all completely wrapped in sort of waterproof silicon, and then it's a little push button activator. You can get these in all different colours. I think I found them on eBay sort of 10 minutes ago. You can get them in sort of 6 different colours, and they're £11 for buying packs of 3 of these if they ever die. But these make really, really good deadlights. So if you can get the little holders. So I mean, this one's a Velcro one. So that literally just slaps on Velcro. This is, I think it's the Picatinny system that goes on. Yeah, it's just a Picatinny system. So if you've got the rail adapter for helmets, that can obviously sit on the side of your head. So I don't know, have you ever used these, Paul?
No,
anything like that?
No,
because there's yeah, I think we discussed them briefly on the Christmas episode, the gadgets one.
Yeah.
But the other one I found as well is the V light, or this is actually an E light, so I think it's a knockoff. But this is effectively the same principle.
I can see if people have those on their lids.
Yeah, so this is it's exactly the same thing. So it's basically all encased in this little floppy bit of silicon. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could probably cut the battery out the back of it and replace it. But this again is just like a little light that's completely waterproof. Once you've got the holder, so this one's again Velcro. Yeah, you can just slap that at the back. But obviously, this is almost like the cheap version, the very, very cheap version of what you've run in.
Well, I mean, that was fairly cheap, that light on the back as well. But yeah, I think it's just whatever works, isn't it? So the upside and the beauty about torches is it just doesn't have to be big budget. And there's some real sort of trinkets out there. So I don't know how much of those the first ones that you
these ones
you went to.
So it depends. Yeah, it depends on the little holder that you get. But I think they're only like a couple quid. But then if you ever want, so if these ever die, you can just pull these out and replace them. The replacement units are, I say, that's about £11 for 3. So it's
£3,000 honeymoon for a £2 light.
I'll be honest, I did buy a few other things whilst I was in e-bike because I got super excited.
They're quite good, if we perhaps I don't know if we do like another little giveaway or something like that at some point. Get hold of a couple of those and give them away.
We can definitely do that. I mean, they're available. You can buy these on eBay fairly cheap. You don't have to go to America to buy them. They are available. Right. I've got one on my plate carrier.
There's the business. We might be able to get some sort of cheap discount flights out there.
See what I can do. So I've got that mostly as a deadlight, and then I've got the Nightcore to provide both the sort of the normal bright light and stuff. But they're quite cool. There's a nice little addition. And the only other one I wanted to discuss is something I bought a long time ago. Thinking this was back when you're kind of you start off Airsoft and you're like, I'm going to buy everything. It's going to be really exciting. And you wander around Wix, and then you see this sort of interesting little gadget. So this is a
things that vibrate.
Sorry, this is. No, it doesn't vibrate, unfortunately. This is a Rollson light-up wand. And they were sold to me at the time because I was talking to the guy in the shop about it. It was like, it's basically a reusable glow stick. Like, I know somewhere I can use reusable glow sticks. But this is basically, for all intents and purposes, it also has just died on me. It's literally an LED in this little base. You get a... It has actually just completely died. Yeah, you've got a torch the other end as well, so it's not particularly bright.
I thought it was a Hobbit's lightsaber.
It might as well be. I have never used these for the purpose that I bought them for. I bought like 5 of them at the time because I thought they'd be brilliant. It's completely died now, so yeah, don't buy those. Oh, blimey. Right, let's jump in the chat quick. Wayne says you need an 8-cell mag light. I think they're the big old baseball bat style torches, aren't they?
Got this one. But the other weird thing is, right, as good as these were back in the day, and it was a case of every doorman had one because if you needed to, even when this has got all the batteries in it, and I think it takes a fair few. This thing, yeah, I mean, look at the size of these bastard batteries. They're massive. Even when they're brand new batteries, this thing's brighter.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if I threw this at somebody in self-defense when I was running away as the manby that I am, that wouldn't do anything. If I threw this, it'd probably take a tree down. It does weigh a ton. But I always wanted a mag light, and I finally got one. But I mean, check that. Look.
Well, they're the old school proper bulbs, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, everybody. But yeah, but you're right. You know, it is. Mag lights are. I mean, you used to get mini mag lights in the little plastic boxes, didn't you? That was like given away at every work do. They are great torches, no getting away from it, you know. But there's such a wide expanse now from, you know, some of the big brands all the way through to, you know, little cheapies that you can pick up, in like the likes of Wilkinson's or Poundland or something like that. That if you was to take for a weekend, and then when it come home it was busted, you could throw it away and not think anything of it. I think, yeah, the varieties out there. It's one of those. I sort of, you know, I was talking about this in the chat in the lead up to it. We was talking about torches, and I'm thinking, you know what? How can we while away an hour talking about torches? Do you know what I mean? But it's surprising because it's just there's more out there than you think. You know, standard torch, you one that you want to just sort of put out and look at your map, or you've got ones that are on your weapons. You've got, you know, ones like this that you kind of have hanging off of whatever. You've got the ones on your plate carriers. It's such a massive variety, from peanuts up to.
Quite working again.
Hey, there we go.
Yes, you get a little torch on the end as well.
I wouldn't necessarily put all my faith in it if I was stuck on the.
Oh God, no.
Late at night. What torch did you?
No,
bring?
I think to be fair, they're advertised as like, you know, if you need to flag someone down, then potentially you've got like this sort of glow stick that you can kind of wave and stuff. I mean, to be fair, it does work for that. Like you can't like not give it its credit.
No, man. Probably what it costs as well.
It also comes with a whistle on the end as well if you ever needed to.
Was it free with a bag of sand or something?
It might as well have been. These I just looked these up. These are basically like £2, and I don't think I even paid that much for it when I got that one. So, but yeah.
Even then, if you was in your tent and just had that hanging from the top of your tent, yeah, it's more than enough, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I can do a little test now with it. I don't want to spend too long on it because I brought it more as like a joke thing to talk about, really, rather than a practical review. But I mean, that's. You know, there's obviously the screen there, but
it's all right.
Yeah, maybe you need to signal down a helicopter or something on the
Careful, you'll have a MilSim or 7 land in your front garden.
Right, some of the other questions. So, where did we get to? Nick says, do all the expensive ones use their own rechargeable batteries? I think they're starting to do that nowadays, aren't they?
So the Olight one. I think it's the Odin was rechargeable. And when you took it apart, it had it was a really strange shaped battery. It's like about sort of that long by sort of, you know, about, I don't know, about in between a 5 and a 10p sort of circumference. It was like that, really. And I know some of the LED lenses, they have their own unique batteries in there for the rechargeables, but some of the other, I mean, this is the LED lenser has got like an insert cartridge that you just stick your AA in or your AAAs. But yeah, so some do, some don't. I mean, this one here, not that one. That's this one. I don't think you can even get to it. So whether, yeah, you can't get to the internals on that one. So whether that's, you know, when it's gone, it's done. So your £100 odd or whatever is just for the life of the battery. But yeah, I think a lot of mine just run off of standards, sort of double A's.
It's the CR123s, isn't it? They seem to be sort of fairly common with the bigger ones.
Yeah, you've got the CR123s, and then you've got your sort of double A's or your triple A's. But yeah, I don't really come across many that are uni. I know the Nightcore ones, that's all encased, it's all built in. So once they're dead, they're dead. So yeah.
I think it's probably, to be fair, you get better waterproofing. If you haven't got to take the thing apart and stuff, you haven't got to worry about waterproof cases or housings around the batteries and stuff. So it probably just makes it a lot more. Like, it probably makes it easier to achieve like an IP6. I think it's IP6, IP7 like rating.
Yeah. It doesn't say on the side. I'm trying to look. No. But as I say, they don't need to be that expensive anyway. But what I do try and do is steer to the same group of batteries, so I don't have to carry 20 different types of batteries. Because it's just, that's a bit gnarly having to do that.
Sit there and get your battery box out, and you're just like, oh, which one do I
need? No, ideally you can do without that one. What I do is the ones in your night vision are the same as the ones in your torch, same as the one in your whatever, And I think my Fleur night vision used to run off of 123s, but my 14, the PVS 14 runs off of a double A, I think. Yeah, so quite handy. Handy.
Andy says, Paul, I think the magnetic O-lights are covered under quite a good warranty, but he's never needed to look into it. So
yeah, worth having a little nose. As I say, I suppose it's one of those with this one. You even if it stopped charging the battery itself, you've got the option to have the thing connected up to a power bank, so you could always, if you really, really was desperate to carry on using it, have the cable coming off of that one into the power bank and just strap them both on the side of the gun. Then you're away. But as I say, I think you're probably right. I think batteries have now come along such a way from where they were. The rechargeable batteries of old that you used to use when we were all young. You get about an hour's use, and you have to plug them in the wall for about 28 hours, and then you get about an hour's use out of them. So I think they have come forward now from where they used to be. Plus what I use them for anyway. As I say, I'm not deployed for 6 months. In the middle of nowhere and kind of putting this thing to the test every single day. I go out once every couple of months when it's dark.
Yeah.
Fortunately, that's under restriction of a restraining order that was set upon me.
Nick says, do many events require you to have a universal colour for deadlights? For the events I've been to, it's usually been red. So it's pretty much a case of just when you're dead, you just whack a red light on, because it obviously replicates a dead rag from during the day.
Yeah.
So
I think all the ones that I've been to, and to be fair, I've not been to loads, but I think red's the standard, pretty much easy in it. Everyone can get hold of it. And as I say, it's a red rag throughout the day or bandages, and then a red light at night. Red light at
night. These days, you need ring light for doing TikTok dances.
Oh, don't tell me about TikTok.
I've got ring lights here.
Oh dear. I don't know.
To be fair, I don't do TikTok dances, but yeah.
No, they did mention at work about learning this dance a little while back on TikTok, and I was just like, you know what? I've not worked here 23 years to work my way up to where I've worked my way up to be told that I've got to do a fucking TikTok dance. No. You want to go and do it? Off you go. I'll sit here and have a cup of coffee and carry on.
I'm supporting you from the sidelines. Go on, guys.
Right. Yeah, not good.
I was just slightly intrigued then. There's a video out there of you doing a TikTok dance. I was going to go and spend the rest of my evening trying to find it.
Just hunt it down. Hunt that dance. No, alas, no.
Andy says, do you guys use chem lights for reading and markings, or even just low light illumination around the camp? So yeah, that's one of the things we didn't really discuss is chem lights.
So I've got one. That's an IR. So I was going to crack it. I could talk about a chem light that I've got as well, but unfortunately, the only one that I've got in there is an IR. So if I crack that now, it's not really much point unless anyone's sitting there with night vision on.
I've got a box of them behind the net, but yeah.
So I do use them every now and again. And they are quite handy to have and just chuck down. But also on the chem light front, I did go and buy, again off of eBay, and they're smaller than that. They're literally like, I think we've talked about before, like the ones that used to go on the tips of your fishing rod or whatever, like type things. But these Siloom or whatever it is, they do the same as those, and they're literally tiny. And I watched a guy on, and I can't remember his name, but he's quite a popular guy from the States that does all that sort of stuff. He talks about kit and all that, ex-military and all this sort of thing. He's got one, and essentially you get like a dispenser for them. So if you're walking along, you can sort of click one of them out, break it, drop it down, walk so many more paces, click one of them out, drop it, put them down. So you create a trail of IR lights. And I think there is a company over here that sells this thing with some of them in, but it's not cheap. It's like 80 quid or something like that for this dispenser. But yeah, so I did buy some of those off of eBay, took them to Apocalypse, cracked one, threw it on the floor, disappeared into God knows what undergrowth, and you couldn't see it. So I think, depending on where you're at, if you're at Longmoor on hard standing, those would be quite nice and quite good to use. But if you're going somewhere like Apocalypse, which is woodland, for the majority, you need something that's kind of going to sit on top of all the leaves and give you a bit of visibility. But yeah, again, in the tent, quite happily crack a couple of chem lights. Use that to light up with. They're relatively cheap. They last sort of, quite a good amount of time.
Little fun fact with chem lights is try to open them in the pouch first. The number of old chem lights that I've cracked and then immediately ended up with luminous goo everywhere. So I always crack them in the pouch and then open the pouch, because that way you're guaranteed that if you do break it or it somehow snaps properly because the plastic's kind of corroded, then you're less likely to get covered in it.
You don't look like you've been to a military initiation party.
Yeah, had some sort of weird party with an alien. But yeah, no, I mean I think the little ones I've seen, the dispenser you were talking about, I've seen, and they've used them for when you're sort of clearing buildings and stuff like that, so they can quickly kind of just chuck little ones down into rooms.
Yep.
And sort of helps identify what rooms have been cleared and stuff. I've never seen IR ones though. I might have to look at those.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find the name. I've watched him a few times. He always starts his videos with like if you've ever then hit like and subscribe. So if you've ever wandered through the swamps of whatever with your buddies while one of you is bugling behind as you walk, surrounded by enemy, then hit like and subscribe. He always starts his videos like that, but he does some really good stuff. Talks about all sorts of kit, a lot of the Haley strategic stuff and all that sort of thing he goes through. But he had them on there, so I will see if I can dig it out and post it. But I'm sure they were IR versions that you could do, because I looked at them over here and thought, actually, it's not a bad shout if you could get some of those. But then I did buy the ones off of eBay, chucked them on the ground at Apocalypse, and you just couldn't see them because you've got the floor at Apocalypse, and then you've got like leaves and bluebells and all sorts of that's sort of about.
It's like low level brush, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely that, mate.
Yeah. Edward says, sorry to darken the mood, but how to use lights without giving your position away. To be honest with you, the main one is don't use the light if you can avoid it.
The other thing that I've done is pulled if I'm going around, I've got my backpack, if I've got a smock or a hoodie or something like that, pull that out, stick that over my head to sort of cover it over, or if someone's got a poncho over your head. Or even, if you're in a group of 3 or 4 of you, if you're sort of knelt down, getting as close to the deck as you can to look through the torch, you look at your map, then get the 2 or 3 guys that you've got to try and create a bit of a cage around you as well. Anything really. Obviously, the best way is to not. If you can get away with using it altogether, then even better. But a lot of that's dependent on whether you know your surroundings, whether you honed your tradecraft, if you will, on getting about at night without things like night vision and that, and just using your senses and your heel to toe movements. But yeah, it is that. It's just trying to find any way you can to just try and back yourself in a corner and sort of hunker down with something over your head. Because it's surprising on a clear day how a little light can be seen for up to a mile away or whatever for what it is.
Yeah. Rage says, can I ask a non-torch question, by all means? How much ammo do I need to bring to that event in June? First MilSim, so not sure. What gun are you running, Rage? If you want to just pop that in the chat. So, I mean, if I answer this as a support gunner first, so I generally tend to go through maybe a bag of about 3,000 in an event. If it's particularly heavy firefights and I'm laying down a lot of suppressive cover. But when I'm doing sort of a rifleman type role, it tends to be a lot less because it's kind of a lot more sort of scatter, single fire type things. I don't know about you, Paul.
I took 15,000 to my first event. And
just a few then.
Yeah, it was like I used to get through a bottle and a half at a skirmish, and that was like for so many hours of a day. If I'm going somewhere for 2 days, I'm going to need and then someone said, let's buy bulk. Yeah, great, go on in. And we ended up with 5 bottles of neutral razors each or whatever at 3,300 a box, and I didn't use them. So now what I do before I go, so I've got what have I got on this at the minute on the MP7 set up on the front here. So I've got 4 mag pouches for the MP7 on there, so they'll be loaded up, and then 2 spare mags for that, so they'll be loaded before I go. And then on the M4 front on it, I've got 4 up front and 2 on my belt, so they'll be loaded up in front. The pistol mags will be loaded up in front, and then I'll probably take, because they're only in the bag that I've got, like Jeff's BBs or whatever they are, I think, for my M4. They're in a bag of 3,000, I think. So I'll tuck them down in the bottom, and I'll leave that. That'll be all I'll take, to be honest. But what I do is I always pack, a couple of extra bags of each size or whatever, just to leave it in the boot of the car. So if I do have an absolute nightmare loading faux pas and drop a bag of 3,000 BBs on the floor, it's not me game over for the weekend. So I always load up the full amount beforehand. Chances are you're not really going to use them that much. I've got a sneaky feeling you're probably going to use more than usual this one, because there's going to be a lot of people that once it kicks off are going to be a lot of COVID things. So I think when it goes, it's going to go, and then there'll be lots of people that come back, reload, grab a cup of tea, grab a drink, bits whatever, have a blue ribbon. If anyone's got any, and then it'll be like, let's go back out again, or you'll go and do your bit, and then it'll be, it might be like me and Mike Marden or something like that. We're going to go, right, we're going to go for a walk. Anyone want to come? And you're like, yeah, coming in. And I think that's what it's going to be like. People are just going to be wanting to get out there and having a go. And Blue 4 are going to be wanting to, get that first contact so they know, who we are and what we're about. And then it opens their sort of green light to engage. And then because we're Taliban anyway, we want to just, fuck shit up, basically. So that's what we'll be doing. And I think, so I think you're going to get through more than you might normally do at a standard event. So, but again, don't carry more than what you need to carry wherever our fob's going to be. Just, one lot. And then if you need to go back to your car, the rules aren't that strict at this one that you can't do that. So, and that goes for anything. I'm going to take a couple of litres of water in my bag up the hill, and then some in a camelback, and then I'll have another 8 litres or 10 litres, whatever it is, back in the car. Just go back and get it if I need to. But
it's quite useful if you've got like toolkits and things as well.
Exactly that.
There's nothing worse than when your gun goes down and you actually need to do some sort of work on it, and you always need that one tool that you haven't got with you, like a long handled screwdriver or whatever.
Yep. So we've got Mimsy with us. So obviously, he's a tech, so he's going to have some tools with him. But yeah, it's surprising when you pack your bag and you think this is actually quite a reasonable weight, and then you chuck 2 or 4 litres of water in, and then if you go over the top on BBs, that bag goes from being bearable to being very, very heavy. So yeah, I think, pack smart, leave some in the car, and then exercise your right to go and get some more if you need to.
Cool. Rage says he's taking an M4 and an LMG.
Oh,
so
right,
yeah,
then, mate.
There you go. Cool.
Just bring a shot.
Right. We better run through a few last questions very quickly. Nick says the Rollson one's ideal for raves. Yep, definitely take that out to the local nightclub disco and be like, woo! Cool sign Kryptonite. A really good light for the tent is a bivy lamp. It's got a magnetic strip. You can put it anywhere. Yeah, I have seen one of those before. That they are quite good. I haven't got one, unfortunately, to hand. I don't know if you've ever used one, Paul.
O-Light do an O-bulb as well, which I must admit I haven't got one, and it's not really something that jumped out at me. But yeah, it's some sort of magnetic strip and that. I think your father-in-law's got a torch. The idea is it's got the magnet on the back, so if you're working on the car, it magnetizes to the underside of the bonnet. Yeah, perfect. Anything like that, isn't it? It's surprising when you're in a tent and you're trying to sort your gear out and all that sort of stuff. The last thing you want is a torch in your hand, because then you realise how difficult it is to do anything one-handed. Well, it's difficult to do the majority of things one-handed. Especially what we do, you're trying to reload and all that sort of stuff. So, but yeah, head torches or any sort of that magnetised bivy lamp or something like that. But really, for me, it's around carrying as less as I can. So compact, as light as I can get it. As I say, these head torches wrap up to nothing, and you might look a bit of a knob when you've got it on, but you've got full use of everything. But if I do want to read a couple of chapters of Lady Chatterley's Lover before I go to bed, then the bivy lamp for sure. It's quite nice just to have a general bit of light in your tent, not just restricted to your head torch, but just have your space opened up a little bit. And if you make it light, a small tent can feel a bit bigger if it's lit up well at night as well.
And I'll just see the last one. Andy says the shop is tactical kit for the dispenser. I've just brought that up on the these things, so you can get the little Siloom Marco. I think they're called Marco dispensers. It says, isn't it?
That's it. Yep.
Yeah.
How much are they?
That one there is £40.
Not too bad then. And what's the drop down options? Has it got IR on a drop down, or is it?
No, these are just the color of the actual units themselves. So you can either get it in black or in a tan.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah,
good shout on that one. Well spotted. I couldn't remember the name of it. It's not a site that I've really used that often, but I know they do a lot of the sort of Magpul gear and all that sort of tactical kit. So
cool. Yeah. Right, we probably better call it an end of the day. It's getting a bit late. So thanks everyone for joining us. Feel free, if you want to get in touch, you can email us at nofochat@hotmail.com. Instagram is November_Foxtrot_Nofo. Facebook is November Foxtrot Nofo, and YouTube is November Foxtrot. I did just read that out, so I'm not going to take any credit for trying to remember it.
I thought it was off the top of your head then.
No, I read it off the screen.
In line with that, so obviously, we've got quite a few people here that have followed us from day one. So firstly, thanks for that. And obviously I've been on a bit of a stay of absence with the baby and all that sort of stuff. So it's really to be back. But obviously, if anyone has been with us from day one and knows the sort of stuff that we've covered off, if they've got any suggestions of things that they want us to spend an hour on Friday, just drop a note to any of us or in the email. I'm not even going to try and read them out.
I'll read it out again because I forgot last week and I got a message from Andy and I said, jokingly, I said I'd read it out twice next week, and then he has just reminded me, unfortunately. So I'll read it out again in a little bit.
So any suggestions of things that you want us to cover off? Obviously, we're restricted to what we can talk about guns wise. Conscious we've not done nods and thermal, so if anyone wants to do a little bit on that, I've not got the most knowledge on it. But I'm more than happy to do a little bit of research about the couple of bits of kit that I've got, even if we spend half an episode on that, and talk through that. But if there is anything else, just give us a shout, or if you want us to go over something we might have done before because, you know, you want us to cover it in a bit more detail than we did, then do let us know. Obviously, we don't want to just drive this ourselves. It's the success of this channel is always going to be around the people that watch, which is you guys. So, you know, hit us up with anything that you want us to waffle on about. I will say I'm not going to spend an hour sitting eating blue ribbons in front of you, you bunch of kinky bastards. If that's what you want to get yourself off with.
That's the OnlyFans account that we're going to set up to fund the stream.
Not cheap.
So yeah, you can email us. I'm going to do it again quickly just to get it out of the way. You can email us at nofochat@hotmail.com. Instagram is @November Foxtrot, @November_Foxtrot_nofo. Facebook is November Foxtrot Nofo, and YouTube is November Foxtrot. So there you go, Andy, especially for you. Ratty says, enjoyed popping my live stream, Cherry. Thanks, chaps. Nice one. Thanks for joining us, Ratty. And I think next week we're going to be talking about storage solutions. So how you store your riffs and bits and pieces, how you store your kit when you get home, sort of like little kind of tips for, you know, don't just whack it in a box in the cupboard and then bring it back out again at the next game because it'll start going moldy, as I found out one time. So there'll be it'll be that sort of theme, sort of how to kind of take care of your kit and stuff. So we're doing that next week. Lance should be joining us again next week. He had some training tonight, so hope that went well, Lance. Enjoy that one. No, Andy, we're not going to be talking about prison pockets and stuff like that. That's a different form of storage.
Oh, man.
So, and on that note, we'll leave it there. So, yeah, have a good one, gents. Say goodbye, Paul.
Goodbye, Paul. I couldn't help it.
No, that's fine.
And see you next week.
Cool. See you later, everyone.